Ladies, do you want the gown or the crown? I'm asking this because this is an issue that I come across all the time as a coach and stylist. If you're brand new to my channel and you just discovered it, thank you for clicking this. I hope that you're going to consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell so that you know when new episodes come out every single week. This episode is brought to you by Rehearsed to Relatable. Ladies, if you are a pageant contestant preparing for your next competition, you want to learn how to improve your interview skills and create a personal brand, then click the description below. I have some details for you there. Let me first tell you a story to explain what I mean by do you want the gown or the crown. In 2017, I was preparing for the title of Miss Montana USA. And at that time, I was fortunate enough to get an evening gown sponsor. His name is Fernando Wong. I met with Fernando months before the competition in Las Vegas to have my first ever custom couture gown design. I could not have been more excited. And I had expectations for this meeting, but those expectations were very different from what the reality was. So I go in and I tell Fernando, here's what I wore last year. I want something different. Here's what looks great on me. Here's what I'm thinking. But also at the time, there were rules for our gowns. It couldn't be sheer. It couldn't be too low. The back couldn't be too low. And when Fernando heard that, he was shocked. He said, well, what in the world can I even do? What could I even make you? And I said, I don't know, that's your job, you're the designer. We talked about colors and I said, last year I wore red and I really wanted to do something a little bit different, maybe a metallic, maybe like a gold. And he says, wow, gold would be great on you, that sounds good. And I said, awesome, just anything but white. Yeah, I wasn't a really big fan of white because in the past when I competed in pageants, whenever I wore white, I was first runner-up. And I was aging out that year, so I could not afford to be first runner-up one more time. So Fernando says, thanks for all of this information. I'll send you a sketch and I'll send you a gown. So I said, okay. Weeks and weeks and weeks go by. I'm waiting to see this gown. I receive a photo of the sketch. The sketch looked absolutely nothing like anything I imagined. Literally, no offense to Fernando, his gowns are incredible. So I looked at it and I was like, this is just not me. And I didn't know what to do. I was conflicted and I wanted to say, no, I need something else. It was too late. My pageant was in about 2 weeks. The gown was already being constructed. It wasn't even finished yet. And I just had to wait for this gown. So at this point I'm stuck and I just thought, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? I can't get out of this. I have to wear this gown that I don't love. And then I thought back to my past experiences and I said, you know, in the past though, I did pick white gowns and it didn't work out for me, but also I picked them out, not a professional, not someone who does this every single day. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna be grateful. I'm gonna be happy with this gown. I'm gonna focus on myself and I'm gonna make a couple changes to it because I do love to customize things. So I added my own touch. I added these two back silk chiffon sashes and I added some rhinestones around the neck because I really wanted the attention to come up. And then I also added some stones on, it was actually a floral sequence lace, which you can't tell from a still image of it, but those flowers were actually made out of these beautiful white sequins, but I wanted even more. So I added even more stones and it was a little bit of overkill. I wore the gown to the pageant, as many of you know, and I ended up loving it. It was so different, it was so unique. It was like nothing else I would ever pick for myself, but it looked incredible on the stage. And that's where I learned an important lesson about, do you really want the gown or do you want the crown? And this is something that I've come across very many times with my own coaching clients, where they'll ask me to style them for a pageant and I'll start sending them different styles that are appropriate for their system and their age, and they will tell me, I don't like any of them. Yes, that is a common response that I will get from contestants, and I do understand that a bit because that's exactly how I felt about my gown. But here's what I want all of you out there to consider when you're getting a custom gown or when you are working with someone who has styled other winners. Now, if you're working with someone who has zero experience, you may want to look for someone who actually has experience dressing winners. You may love a gown that you feel looks fantastic on you, that suits your individual style. But sometimes a contestant's individual style does not align with the style of the pageant system that she is competing in. That's how we approach the question, do you really want the gown or do you want the crown? And I have some contestants who are so married married to their specific style that they cannot see past losing an element of their specific style, and they're so closed off to finding a gown that would actually work for their pageant system that at the end of the day they are choosing to wear a gown instead of to wear the crown. That is a message that I really want pageant contestants to understand. You will not always love your winning evening gown. In fact, I've had many of my own clients who I just say, please trust me on this one. Please believe me, this gown is gonna be perfect for you, for your system, for your age division, for your pageant, and it's gonna look fantastic on stage. And I've had to get them to just trust me. But if you are working with someone who knows what they're talking about, who understands the styling for your specific pageant and age division, and that someone that you can really give that trust to, then ladies, you should be able to be willing to let go a little bit, because if not, you're really sacrificing that title for the sake of wearing a gown. I mean, how silly is that? The compromise that I make with many of my clients is when they have a gown that they absolutely love, that sometimes they even purchase, and I'm like, no, we cannot wear that. We need to wear something else. The compromise I always say is take both gowns. You can use the one you love for a photo shoot. You can wear it for an appearance. You can wear it for a farewell dress. Those are your options, but it's not going to give you that crown. And is it really, ask yourself, is it really worth it to you? Or can you bend a little bit? Can you be a little bit more flexible? Can you wear a gown that's going to be appropriate for your system, that's actually going to help you to accomplish your goal? And when I looked at my own situation, I was so glad that I was able to be flexible and let go. Let go of that control and just say, I'm gonna leave this up to a professional who knows what they're doing, who has a track record of success, because clearly something was not going right when I was trying to do it for myself. And I really think that is a hard lesson that a lot of you out there have to learn, because I do see so many contestants that I follow online, or I watch your journey, or I'm very aware of you, and I see you competing for system after system, or coming back year after year, and time after time. I see you in wardrobe that's not appropriate for your pageant system, and the wardrobe that's one of the things that I believe is essentially stopping you from winning. And I feel like that's a really interesting conversation to have with contestants too, because there's a quote that I love, and it's just, it's not the gown, it's the girl, and that's true. But there are certain things that you can put on that are going to enhance your natural characteristics. They're gonna make you look even better. Then there's gowns who are actually going to hinder, who are gonna take away from you or distract from you as a person, so the judges can't even focus on you. And those are not gowns you wanna wear for competition. Gowns that have loud details that distract from your face versus a gown that may be a little bit more simple or has more or less embellishments, just depending on your pageant system, that are really going to complement you. So I want you to consider that, ladies, because I know a lot of you are very married to certain gowns and very married to certain styles, and it is not the way to go. It's often not the way to win. You have to let go a little bit and go with what is actually going to win. And this is a conversation I literally have every week with my clients, where I send them all these gowns. I will oftentimes show them photos of past title holders in their age division, in their pageant system, and I will say, look at the consistencies here. Look at what these young women are wearing. Look at what is successful in your system, and look at what you love. What you love is very different from any of those things, and that's a problem for us. We can have certain elements that you like and find certain things about your own style that we can incorporate into a dress, but sometimes we cannot put you in a dress that you may absolutely love that's just inappropriate for where you're competing. So that's an important lesson that I wanted to discuss today, that I want you to learn from and take away from. Ask yourself, do you really want that gown, or do you want the crown? Think about it. Thanks for watching this episode. I hope that you are going to subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and please share this episode with your friends. I hope it's going to be helpful to many other contestants out there. I greatly appreciate it, and it's a wonderful way for you to support the channel. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.